Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Broc and Dawson podcast. Thanks for coming out. I'm glad you could make it. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends if you enjoy it. Thank you for showing up to the party. As always, I hope you brought the booze. Thanks. It's going to be a good one. I want to start off by expressing, because we've been canceling people a lot recently in the past couple of years. And there's something that nobody ever seems to really talk about. There's one guy that everyone just seems to be okay with. He's an American hero, American legend, one of the greatest people of all time. There's statues of him. Mm-hmm. And this man is Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general. And I recently found out, so it's crazy because he's this American icon, really, this hero. Mm-hmm. And I just recently found out that he was actually fighting for slavery in the Civil War. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I really don't understand how this could just slip past.
I know, what the heck?
All the history classes and all the history books. Why are we idolizing somebody that fought for slavery in the Civil War? I mean, genuinely, why is he so famous, and why do we have statues of him when he fought for slavery? I just now found this out, and I am outraged. So I'm starting the trend, the hashtag Robert E. Lee is over party on Twitter. We're gonna get this trending. Mm-hmm. Tweet out pictures of him.
We got to make him feel bad about himself for the mistakes he made 160 years ago.
We have to end this man's career, okay? This cannot go unjustly, all right? Robert E. Lee is a racist and a pedophile and a Satan worshiper. He's a devil worshiper, and he probably ate kids.
Probably. There's evidence for it.
It's time to cancel Robert E. Lee, okay? He was a racist and a sexist, probably, and a bigot. And I bet he hated homosexuals, too.
I'm sure he did, honestly.
Trended on Twitter. And while you're at it, trend the podcast on Twitter, too.
Yeah.
We're needing it.
Don't just put hashtag Robert E. Lee is over party. That's what it is. Yeah. Don't just put that, but also put, hashtag Broc and Dawson podcast is up and coming party or something.
Yeah, make sure that people know it's from this podcast. Because when we cancel Robert E. Lee, it's going to go down in history that Robert E. Lee was canceled. And I want us to be the origin of that cancellation, okay?
Yeah.
So get her trending. Hashtag Robert E. Lee is over party. Get this racist bigot. Get it done. Get it over with. I cannot believe that he's a racist. All right. Now that bit's over, let's talk about the real thing. When is cancel culture going to stop?
It's not.
And I mean, genuinely, when are we going to I thought with the pandemic, I thought that after, we were,
in a pandemic,
literally people, I thought people were going to be dying in the streets. Just bodies on body, stacked upon each other. I thought we were going to be living in fear, eating each other and, robbing. I thought it was going to be crazy. And then we're going to come out of it and be yeah, why were we why did we care so much that we canceled people for things that they did in their past? I thought that's what the situation was going to be. And then the pandemic happened and there wasn't really any cancellations until it started lightening up, and now things are... They're going back to the way they were, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, I guess people were doing some digging during quarantine, so good job, people. I applaud you.
That's my favorite. So if you don't know what we're talking about Jimmy Fallon. Arguably the best late-night host and human being of all time. He's very entertaining. He's very entertaining. All late night. Late night's probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm not joking.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Late night television was a thing of the 90s, and it shouldn't have kept going. It should not be a thing, really. I'm sick of fat British men with Billie Eilish. Even though she's my wife, I'm sick of them, like in the carpool karaoke, singing in the car like it's all it's all cute. When Billie Eilish is bleeding out of her eyes and like eating kids, it's like, dude, just I don't know what it is, bro. I can't deal with like Jimmy Fallon playing with the Muppets. I just like, what are you trying to? I guess it's for people who are like, I want to kill themselves or something. And they just like are thinking about committing suicide, and they accidentally turn on the TV and Jimmy Fallon's with Ariana Grande playing like the impression game or something, and they're like, maybe I'll let it off one more day. I'll grab a McDouble and I'll watch this and just put it off one more day. I think that's what late night is for.
Yeah, late night is not for somebody who wants to actually enjoy some good entertainment. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, if you enjoy good entertainment, you're watching this right now. So good on you. Good on you, Pard.
Now, if you're watching this and you watch late night, then
kill yourself.
I don't even know what to tell you.
Like that's such an insult to us personally.
Like comparing us to late night, that's the worst comparison we could have. We don't want that.
If like our podcast and like a late night clip are within like 30 videos of each other in your watch history, you should end it. So, Jimmy Fallon, America's hero. This is what, okay, when are we going to stop freaking out when we find out that these celebrities aren't Jesus Christ and they aren't perfect people?
I don't know, because I guarantee you, pull anybody off the street, dig everything up from their life, and if they were a celebrity, they'd be out.
Yeah. Like, it's funny. So I didn't even explain what was going on. So Jimmy Fallon, America's sweetheart, he is a late night television host, and apparently somebody just now found out that on SNL in the year 2000, he did
20 years
ago. He did blackface, which if you don't know what blackface is, you're retarded, but it's like you just paint your face like brown. And he was impersonating Chris Rock for a bit, and it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't.
But it's like, and people are like, I don't even know what, do people just think they're like little detectives? Like they got a little badge, and they're just like, we got him, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Jimmy Fallon did blackface 20 years ago. Let's cancel him. And they like show their badge. Like, what do you think you watched a sketch that was on national television on Saturday Night Live, arguably like one of the biggest shows of all time, and you think you're I don't know what it's so pompous just to be like, look at this that I found that Jimmy Fallon did on television 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, what he did, yeah, like it was an awful skit and
tasteless.
Yeah, but like at the same time, he doesn't need to be canceled for that, especially 20 years ago. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, dude.
It's insane.
Listen, I don't know what I was going to say, to be honest with you. I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about, okay, SNL. Oh, yeah. So this cancel culture, I feel like it's not the people that should be getting offended, like in this case, African Americans. I feel like the majority of the people getting upset, and this is just my thoughts, my observations. I could be completely wrong. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's all like 90% white people who are just like virtue signaling, just being like, hey, look at me, I'm sticking up for the African Americans in the country. Mm-hmm. Which, if I was an African American and white people were doing that on a weekly basis, which it is a weekly basis, it's a weekly reoccurring thing. If I was African American and white people kept doing that, trying to like stick up for me, I would genuinely be like offended.
Well, yeah, because the way they're making it seem like they're always victims of everything.
Yeah.
And they can't help themselves. And I shouldn't be saying they, like that's, yeah, but like.
Say it, yeah. Dude. Listen, dude. We're not racists. And if you take that away from the segment, you're a retard. And I'm not against retards. And if you take that away from me saying retard, you are a retard. Okay? Continue.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, African Americans, like, white people are some people are painting them like they're victims of everything, and white people are always saying like, oh, you can't do this because it's racist, you can't do this, when in reality the things that people are doing, sure, some things are racist, but other things are not racist, and white people are just saying that it's racist, trying to stick up for African Americans, when at the same time they're just making them seem like victims of everything. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird complex to look at, because I don't know. It's like, I don't like, are most black people even offended by that? They might be.
I feel like most honestly aren't. I mean, I can't speak for like a lot of people, but I feel like most people aren't going to be super offended by that. They're probably going to think it's actually pretty funny or just really dumb, because
unless they have good taste in entertainment.
But God a lot of people think Jimmy Fallon is funny, so I mean, you might think it's funny.
I knew people deserve to burn at the stake if you think Jimmy Fallon is funny. But anyways, everyone has their own opinions. Whatever. Screw you. So this is just my favorite one because it's not even like it wasn't even a secret. Like most of the things are like they dig up like tweets or like messages that somebody said that was like supposed to be like kind of hidden. It was like 10 years ago. Oh man, they like dig up this thing, but this was literally on television, and it's just like like these like I imagine like a white woman who has nothing to worry about in the world. She lives in like New York or like a suburb of New York, just in an apartment, like a nice one, and she has like a couple dogs, and she wanted to be on SNL. So here's the situation, bro. She like went to she came from like a small town, and she wanted to be like a writer for SNL or something like that. Wanted to be like a writer for television, wanted to make it, and she moves to the big city of New York, and she has hopes. She has hopes, as lots of us do. She moves into the city with high hopes, and they immediately get crushed. And she goes and she has to move into this like kind of sketchy apartment with like a dog that she can barely get food for because she's poor. And she's just sitting there on Twitter, and she's bored. And she's bitter that her career didn't take off. And so she finds this sketch of Jimmy Fallon on SNL 20 years ago. And she's like, if I can ruin Jimmy Fallon's career, that will make my life better, which it won't. That's not how life works. But so she starts this, and then other bitter people whose careers didn't work out get in on it, and they want to cancel Jimmy Fallon because their own lives didn't work out. And I'm not sticking up for Jimmy Fallon in any of his comedic ventures. I am sticking up for this video, which it's not very offensive. If they started doing jokes about like lynching and stuff, we could have a conversation. Okay, but there wasn't. So relax, dude. Okay, just relax. Nobody was wearing any hoods in the video. He was doing an impersonation, not even of like an entire race, but of a specific person. He was doing an impression of Chris Rock. It wasn't like he was impersonating the entire race of African Americans. It's just like, when are we really gonna be done with this kind of thing? It's a genuine question, because I thought this trend was gonna die, and it still hasn't, even after we've gone through a pandemic. And I feel like we should have realized that other things actually are more important, like friends and family and like love and relationships. Like, why are we still doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. And one thing that really makes me mad is there's gonna be actual cases where people say are doing a call to violence, or they're doing something where it actually is harmful, and this is just going to be like the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. Nobody's going to take any of this stuff seriously now, because they're doing it for the dumbest things. Something happened 20 years ago that could be considered borderline racist, but it was an impersonation of one person, and that was 20 years ago, versus when there's actually something that's going to be serious, no one's going to care, because none of this cancel culture stuff has done anything. None of it's meant anything. So now in the future, it's just going to not mean anything at all.
And that's why I did that bit at the start with Robert E. Lee, because it's like times were different 5 years ago. 5 years ago was a completely different time than right now. And then 5 years before that was completely different. So we're talking 20 years ago. I'm not saying I would ever do blackface just because it's not really a thing that I need to do. But 20 years ago, people weren't freaking out about it like they would be now. So it was 20 years ago. So are you going to cancel? This is not a fact. I don't know what I'm talking about necessarily, but I feel like George Washington had slaves. Did he not?
I believe he did. He wasn't like pro-slavery, but he had slaves.
So are you going to cancel George Washington for having slaves? Like, are you going to cancel? Are we going to take him off the freaking dollar bill? Is that what he's on? I literally have no idea. I don't pay attention.
What does canceling even mean nowadays? Like,
they're trying to end careers of comedians, essentially.
That's the dumbest thing ever. Comedians, jokes are meant to be something that, like, is either dark or makes fun of somebody. It's always going to be offensive in some way to some person. Yeah. Because if jokes are not offensive to any person on earth, they're not going to be funny whatsoever.
Exactly. To lean out here with the facts, bro. Jokes are always at the expense of somebody.
Mm-hmm. Always.
If they're funny, they are. And this is the thing, dude. This is what I don't understand. Do you want to just watch Jimmy Fallon eating Olive Garden with Post Malone?
Nope. I can already answer that for you.
Want him playing giant Jenga with like Doja Cat? Is that all you want to see? Because those aren't offensive. Those aren't harmless. Those aren't harmful to any. Those are not offensive to anybody.
They're kind of offensive to me because it's like it's an offense to comedy.
True comedy.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're not offensive, and so they're not funny, dude. And this is where it's gonna destroy comedy. This cancel culture is gonna destroy comedy. So I hope that there's always gonna be people that, like Tim Dillon, does not apologize for anything he says, and he says insane stuff. And I pray to the Lord above that there's people like that throughout, I guess, the rest of time. There's just going to continue to be people like that who just know comedy and don't apologize for it and don't cower to this cancel culture and stay funny and stay relevant. I like, it's terrifying to me because comedy, obviously, it's like what I want to go into and what I've always like really been about, and I don't want to see it die. I don't want to see it shrivel up and die into this Jimmy Fallon playing Muppets with Cardi B. I just don't want that. I don't know how you guys feel about it either. I don't know how you feel about, what are you thinking about this situation?
It makes me mad because, like you said, it's going to literally destroy comedy as we know it, and it's going to destroy comedy just in general, not even for comedians, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, because no one is going to want to make a joke about anything, even to their friends, because they're afraid their friends are going to take them out of context, or their friends are going to, like, totally try to destroy their lives because they said something that was funny that apparently offended the other person, even though it's not meant in that way.
Yeah. And this is, gosh dang, I feel like I have to preface this with everything that we kind of say here. This is not a Republican Democrat. This is not a liberal debate. You know, this is not a political thing. This is literally just comedy. So we're not out here being like straight Republicans. Like, they're destroying they're destroying comedy. What are we gonna do? We can't say the N-word now. We can't say the N-word in our podcasts. You joking? They're ruining comedy. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's definitely not what we're doing.
I'm just saying it's not, and I'm not even saying that the blackface is a good thing to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if we cancel things and we keep just trying to destroy people's careers, studios especially, dude, that's what I'm scared of. Like, not even just people trying to censor themselves, but studios. Because studios have all the power, and they're the ones that stand to gain or lose the most out of, like, situations like this. Like, NBC might, like, get tarnished from this. So it's gonna influence other studios to be more careful with what they put out and censor more, I feel like. It's like YouTube with their advertisers. They don't want to put advertisers don't want to be put into any offensive videos because they don't want to be associated with that video. So YouTube has to work with that. They have to work with the advertisers, and it screws a lot of genuinely funny people over in the YouTube scene because they don't get the advertisers that maybe like a David Dobrik would get, who's not really doing anything edgy or offensive. I mean, and I don't know. I'm not trying to say that you have to be offensive with your comedy, but it's just you can't censor yourself. I'm not saying you should go for being outright racist, but you can't censor what you're trying to get across in your jokes. I mean, that's just how I feel.
I mean, yeah, just think about it like this. Like, if your friends are not going to laugh at your joke and they're literally just going to be straight up offended no matter what, then don't say it. But if they're going to laugh at it, even if they think, man, that's like, that could be a little offensive to those people, it's fine. Like, as long as it's not something that's literally just completely racist, like you were saying, or that's going to just totally, I don't even know what else I was going to say. But yeah, as long as it's not something that's like completely racist or completely awful, then it's fine. You don't need to worry about it. Like, just say it. You don't need to worry about the censorship stuff, or you shouldn't have to, at least, because it's really dumb.
Yeah, and I found that I figured out a way to put it in the past 30 seconds. Offensive doesn't necessarily make it funny. Like, there's a lot of shock humor that I really just don't find funny. Like, people just trying to be so shocking and like say the worst things. Like, I don't think it's funny. Like, it has to be tasteful. You know what I mean? So just say your stuff. Say your stuff and figure out if it lands or not. And if it doesn't land, don't use it. I just don't want to have a censored community. Which it looks like it's going that way.
Yeah, just don't make your comedy, though, like how a freshman in high school would think stuff is funny. Like,
bro.
Don't do stuff literally just to offend people just because you think that's hilarious. Like, jokes are always at the expense of somebody. That doesn't mean that you have to, like, make them totally go right against somebody, and that's the whole point of the whole joke. Like, I don't know. Just try to have some taste in your jokes, but don't completely censor yourself either.
Yeah, dude. And as a white person, you know, like, I obviously can't say that I'm not offended that Jimmy Fallon did that because I'm not African American. But, like, if an African American, like, say Dave Chappelle did whiteface for a sketch or something on the Chappelle Show, I would not be offended. Wait, Dave Chappelle.
Wait, he did that?
Oh, he actually. Wait.
Oh, wait, are we going to start a cancel culture for this now?
Wait a second.
The thing is, I don't give a crap that he did this. Honestly, I could see this as being funny.
Wait a second, dude. Hold on, dude. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle did whiteface for a comedy sketch.
Are you kidding me? And like, what? I'm just kidding. No, I don't mind at all. But like,
Dave Chappelle is an African American, and he put whiteface on his skin to represent a Caucasian. I'm outraged.
So outraged.
No, but actually,
yeah, I know. That's
like,
oh my gosh.
I guess when did it become offensive to impersonate like people of other like races and other cultures? Like, accents are so funny. It's funny to do that. So when did it become illegal to do that kind of thing?
Yeah, and this is the reason why I hate double standards. Not because that it's benefiting African Americans, because it's harming them. Because it's giving them the look as though they're offended at anything that goes against them whatsoever, but they can do anything to offend everybody else and it doesn't matter. When in reality, the only people getting offended are those white Karens who are so against all this stuff, and it makes me so mad because you're going to find very few people who are offended at the blackface, and the whiteface, I don't care whatsoever. At all. Like, you can do whiteface all you want, and it honestly could be funny. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
And here's the thing. It's like, I guess with the whole whiteface versus blackface thing, it's like a white person impersonating a black person is offensive because black people. This is what I feel the stigma is. It's that black people are less off, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that black people are less
statistically,
off.
like, they have an average lower average income statistically, but that's not meaning that every single person is like that.
I'm saying, like, the whole, I don't know. It's like these people that, especially these white people on Twitter that are sticking up for African Americans, it's like, it's almost like they think that black people are lesser, and like they think we're punching down. Like, if you impersonate anybody other than your own race, it's like you're punching down. That's kind of dangerous in and of itself, dude, because that's offensive by itself that you're doing that and implying that.
Yeah, the way I just thought of it, actually, which it's kind of like calling somebody bud. It's like,
yeah, bro, screw that.
It's
if you
like
call me bud, I'll slit your throat.
You're saying they're like less than you. You're like, oh, hey, bud, like, let me help you out, bud. Yeah. Like, you're acting like they need your help, like they're the little guy and you're the big guy sticking up for them.
Yeah.
When in reality, that just hurts everybody by doing that.
Yeah, and obviously, look, like, everything we say is from the perspective of a white man.
Mm-hmm.
So take it with a grain of salt, but I feel like that we're being pretty reasonable. We're probably going to get canceled, actually, right after this podcast. Right after I upload this, I'm going to look at Twitter, and it's going to be like Broc and Dawson are over party.
That would actually, like, that would give us the most publicity we've ever had.
Like, nobody even listens to us, but they're so outraged that we said that to our 100 viewers.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the pinnacle of my life. So, yeah, that's basically all I had. That's all I was gonna say about that, dude. Pisses me off. Just if you want a virtue signal, if you want to, like, make other people think you're doing good, then go do good, dude. Because canceling other people is not. Look at this demonstration. If Jimmy Fallon is here and you're here, bringing Jimmy Fallon to here does not bring you up at all. Did you notice that? You notice that? Maybe Jimmy's back down at your level after his late night show gets canceled, but you're not anywhere further in your life. So focus on you, maybe. People do this cancel thing to ignore their own life problems and ignore that they are failures. And so they try and make other people failures so that they're not so that they're all in the same boat. How about focus on your own goals and focus on bettering yourself as a person instead of getting offended and trying to take down other people? And it's not just cancel culture with Twitter and celebrities, dude. In your real life, there's people that envy other people and, like, want to see them fail, which I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people want to see other people fail just because they're not succeeding at stuff, and it's pretty disgusting. But just, like, this goes to all of you right now, because we've all kind of, like, I don't know, we feel bad about ourselves and we wish we were in the position of somebody else. Just focus on how to make yourself better and instead of trying to tear down somebody that is doing better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, if you're focusing on somebody else, you're just lowering yourself the whole time, because you're not focused on what you need to be focused on. You're not improving yourself. You're just bringing other people down, and along with that, you're bringing yourself down. And so you're not helping anybody whatsoever. You're bringing everybody down, when instead you could be going up and you could be bringing other people up with you. Yeah. That is the way you need to go. You don't need to be just tearing every single person down for every little mistake they do, because everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah. It's like that song by Kesha or something.
I was actually about to start quoting
Everybody
that,
makes
but
mistakes. Everybody has those days. We're back. The recording stopped. Thank you if you're still with us. Thank you, guys. We're gonna do a little interlude here just to remind you during the show. If you like what we're talking about, if you like what we're saying, share the podcast because we can't do this for free forever.
We've got to like get some money somehow, you know. Like,
who do you literally think you are? You just binge our free content and you don't share the podcast and you don't tell your friends, dude. We got to get a Patreon going. We got to get some sponsors on this thing, dude.
Mm-hmm. And we're not saying you have to pay us like directly. It's just, at least if you're not going to pay us, share it.
Share it.
Get it out to people so it'll make it more accessible and it'll help us and it'll help the podcast. And see, it helps everybody. You. See, you're bringing everybody up. See, just like we were talking about. So share the podcast.
Yeah, you guys. Tleen is good at roping things up into a little bow. I'm sure you're great at Christmas time. Look.
No, I'm not actually, but.
Look, you guys. This is my dream. Okay. And if somebody came to me and said, all you have to do is share this podcast to help somebody's dream, help them achieve their goals, I would share that podcast with everybody I knew. Okay. I wouldn't sleep until everybody that I've ever met
in the entire world
had heard that podcast. Because I care about other people and their feelings, and I care about their goals. I want to see people succeed, okay? And I understand what it's like to have a dream. And I want to see people achieve their goals. So please just share it.
So share the dang podcast.
Share the podcast or I'll slit your entire family's throats in front of you. Listen, dude. Share the podcast or I will pick one of your kids I won't pick one of your kids. Here's what's going to happen. If you don't share the podcast, I'm going to come in your house and I'm going to rope up all your kids in front of you and I'm going to say, pick one. And you have to pick which one dies. And I'll kill one and then the other couple will have to know for the rest of their lives that you have favorites and you will
And you didn't share the podcast.
And that you didn't share the podcast for number one. And they will have to live the rest of their lives knowing that you picked one of their siblings to be killed. And that could happen to them at any moment, and that you have favorites. So just share the podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Like that's all we're saying.
I have to revert to threats now. Okay, I've tried to be the nice guy. I tried. What do you want me to do? Truly, we live in a hell. Rats are gonna kill us all.
Mm-hmm. We're going down.
We're going. If it hasn't already started, I keep thinking that things are going to happen and like the world's finally going to end and it's all going to be good. And then it's just people figure out how to fix it. It pisses me off. CDC warns of aggressive rats searching for food during shutdowns. This is from the New York Times. Let's just, we're just going to go through this a little bit. Oh, Lord.
I don't know what happened to Broc's computer there, but we're back.
Okay, the New York Times is the worst.
Yeah, their website sucks. Stop asking for the worst. Stop asking people for money.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Stop begging people to share your stuff.
I know. Why would you do that? Like,
oh my gosh, so annoying. I feel like I'm our listeners right now, dude. Okay, so we're just going to go through and read this a little bit. Humans are not the only ones who miss dining out. As restaurants and other businesses have closed during the coronavirus pandemic, rats may become more aggressive as they hunt for new sources of food. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention warned. So, rats, dude, already rats are like the most disgusting and like scary kind of creatures.
Ugh, I hate them.
It's like if you see a rat, it's like, I don't know what it is about them, but you just want to leave.
Yeah, unless if it's Ratatouille, then you can get some nice food.
I hate that movie. I hate Ratatouille and WALL-E. And those are honestly, the two most popular ones.
Are the rats getting aggressive because Ratatouille can't get into the restaurants to make food?
For real.
So they're getting aggressive because they can't get Ratatouille's food.
Yeah, dude.
So that's all it is.
Pixar has been on this train, bro. Pixar knew what was up.
Pixar started coronavirus.
Pixar invented coronavirus.
We figured it out.
Title of the episode. Environmental health and rodent control programs may see an increase in service requests related to unusual or aggressive rodent behavior, the agency said on its website on Thursday. If that's not the most terrifying thing you've ever heard in your friggin' life, dude.
I know. Can they define what aggressive is, though? Because that just scares me.
It could be like aggressive has so many different meanings. Like aggressive could be like, or it could be like literally they're like gnawing your wiener off. That's the two. That's the two mediums. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So please tell us what that means.
It's like, it just keeps going. I don't understand. We had the pandemic. We were gonna go into World War III. We had the bushfires.
We had those freaking killer wasps. The
murder
hornets.
The murder hornets are here, and the coronavirus comes, and then that wasn't enough. So they're like, yeah, rats are gonna start eating you now. So that's dope. But they're actually not. They're not eating people. They're actually just eating each other. It says the rats are not becoming aggressive toward people, but toward each other. Bobby Corrigan, an urban rodentologist, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Did he get a degree in urban rodentology?
Rodentology?
What is rodentology?
Burn in hell.
I'm gonna click on this.
Figure out what rodentology is.
This gives me another New York Times link when I click on rodentology. Screw you, New York Times.
Is it genuinely just a study? It's just, I mean, it's probably something in important. Bro, when you look up,
of rodents.
That is insane. When you look at rodentology, it brings up Bobby Corrigan's Twitter. Is he the only one?
He probably is.
Is he the only rodentologist?
He invented rodentology just for this article.
I'm going to school for rodentology now. After this, the study or science of rodents.
There is literally one thing. It just says noun, the study or science of rodents. And there's one reference.
It says etymology, rodent plus ology.
Wow, that's some advanced stuff right there.
I would not have even put that together. That's funny, dude. Bobby Corrigan is the only rodentologist of all time. That's great. Has both a master's degree and PhD in rodent pest management. Imagine being that guy. What if he's like goes up to the door of like his new girlfriend? He's like meeting her parents for the first time, and he goes to they're sitting at the dinner table, and her dad's just like, "So, Bobby Corrigan, what are you studying?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm studying rodentology. I'm gonna be a rodentologist when I'm older." And then his dad just pulls out like a shotgun and just kills himself.
What if? I'm just trying to think. Like, picture when you have like your career day at your school or something, or people ask you what you want to be when you grow up when you're in elementary school, and then you just say you want to be a rodentologist.
A little kindergartner. So, Bobby, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a rodentologist. I want to have a PhD in rodent pest management.
Like, that teacher and parents probably feel like they failed that kid. Like,
yeah, dude. Bobby Corrigan smells of broken dreams.
That's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting right now is broken dreams. Like, no one dreams to be a rodentologist.
Except for me now. I now dream of being a rodentologist. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Robert, for being my daddy. Dr. Corrigan said there are certain colonies of rats in New York that have depended on restaurants' nightly trash for hundreds of generations. That's awesome. Coming out of the sewers and alleys to ravage the bags left on the streets. With the shutdown, all of that went away, leaving rats hungry and desperate. This is a horror movie that we live in.
Just wait till they get that taste of human meat, and then,
oh baby,
then they'll start getting aggressive. That's gonna be a fun time.
That's when crap hits the fan, bro. Then the rats tell the squirrels, and the squirrels tell the bigger ones, and it goes all the way up until all animals.
This is gonna be Planet of the Rodents, dude.
I'm so excited. I'm literally so
Planet
happy.
of the freaking Rodents.
I saw a squirrel on my hike on Sunday, and it made me so like happy. I felt so good.
It made you happy?
Yeah. He was just like chilling, and he scaled this wall, and I was like, "You go, dude." Squirrels are
freaking spider squirrel.
Squirrels are so dope.
They are pretty dope.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm just gonna be the guy with this. I'm gonna be the next Bob Ross, bro. Straight up. I'm literally just gonna have a squirrel on my shoulder at all times.
Just give it its little milk bottle.
Yes, and I'll name him Robert after my buddy Bob.
That would be awesome. I'm sorry, my chair is so
I keep
squeaky.
thinking it's a mouse, and I get scared a little bit.
It's like I literally am barely moving whatsoever. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing this on the podcast the entire time. I'm trying not to move, but it's like the squeakiest chair in the world.
If you don't share the podcast, though, you deserve to hear the squeaking all the time. So screw you.
Do you hear this? Nope,
So
now I
you
can't
doing
hear
it
it
anymore.
What the flip?
So gear up, fellas, because we're adding one more thing to the list. We were going to war with coronavirus, the Clintons, and now we might have to go to war with rats. So just gear up. Just get ready.
Does this... Hold on. Okay, yeah. Do you want to read? Wait, oh, it still goes on, by the way.
Yeah,
the
you
article
can read
does.
that.
I just wanted to read this little part that says, hundreds of thousands of rats in Chicago have started boldly searching for food, traveling farther and during the daytime. Some have even moved into car engines.
Welcome to the apocalypse.
Imagine starting your car and it freaking blows up because it's full of rats.
Brother, they're just eating your car. What if the rats just ate the car from the engine?
They're trying to make us immobile so they can just kill us all.
This is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. This is amazing. I'm so excited.
This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life, okay? This is the best day. Do you want to talk about The Last Dance?
Yes, let's talk about The Last Dance.
How far are you?
I think I'm on episode 6.
That's good, dude. That's good.
I've been watching a lot of it.
Just give us your general thoughts on it so far while I take a swig of this delicious water.
My general thoughts on The Last Dance. I was very surprised to see how much footage they had of like Michael Jordan and the team from that long ago and the way they put it all together. The person who archived all that footage and then found it all and put it all together, you're the real MVP.
Yeah, bro.
But like the show itself, I've enjoyed it. It's not quite what I was expecting. Like it was, I don't know, it was just a different take on everything because I thought it would be a lot more surrounding the basketball, but it's more surrounding his life. Like a lot of it is, and it's given me a lot more insight into basketball during that time and just life in general during that time. But at the same time, I don't know how much I like Michael Jordan.
For reals?
For all this, I don't know. Like, yeah, I do. But at the same time, like, he seems very, very arrogant in all this, which, I mean, he is like the greatest basketball player of all time. So he deserves to have some arrogance. But, like, I don't know. There's not much humility there.
I could see that. Like the way he is with his teammates and stuff, but literally he was just trying to like make them better and make the whole team better, and he was a douchebag in doing that, but it's like it was pretty effective.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand, like, dude, he's the best, literally the best player of all time.
Yeah, he definitely was. Like literally every single person, even like Magic Johnson. When they showed him talking about losing the championship, he's like, well, I lost to Jordan, so it's fine. Like he understood that after his first championship, that he was like the greatest of all time.
I don't know if you could be Michael Jordan and not be like a little arrogant. I don't think he was super arrogant. He's just like, but it's like, true. I'm the best. Like he was an icon. He still is. Mm-hmm. But in the 90s especially, he was a legend, like worldwide.
Yeah, and it would honestly suck to be him. Like,
yeah,
it would be really cool. Like in the show, they're saying like how everyone says they want to be like Mike for a day or for a week or something, but always being like him, I would never be able to do that. Constantly being in the public eye, no matter what. Like, I'm surprised they didn't cancel MJ. They tried to, actually, but, like, I'm surprised they didn't actually cancel him.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see just how throughout the show he came into basketball and was, like, super just in love with the game. And he didn't really fall out of love with the game. But over the course of, like, the entire series and, like, his career, he became this bigger than world icon, bigger than himself, just worldwide legend. Like it wasn't really about basketball almost anymore. He was more of just like all those commercials he was in and stuff. It was showing all that. I don't know if you got to that part yet. It was showing
Yeah.
He was doing like all these ad campaigns and commercials, and it was kind of like, there was one part in particular where he was, I think it was like an anti-drug sort of thing, but the camera, it was showing them filming it, and he said his line, and then it stopped, and they had to retake the line, and then they retook the line.
I just barely watched that one.
And I could just see it in his face. It was like he was just done.
Yeah, he was like dying inside.
It seriously was that part of the show was depressing because it showed like just the impact that the fame kind of took on him.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like, when he was talking about, because it's in his 97-98 season, like his last season before he retired the first time, and he was talking about like how he was done with all of everything that was going on, but he wasn't done with basketball. Like, I'm sure if he was not the big star he was, he would still be doing basketball for like another 4 years after this, probably.
Yeah.
It's just he was sick of all the publicity. He was sick of constantly being in the public eye the entire time. So he had to get away from it. That's the reason why he retired, not because that he didn't love basketball anymore. It's because he didn't love everything else surrounding it.
Yeah, and you could definitely see that. Not even just because he talked about it, but you could, even if he didn't, you could see that was what he was thinking. But dude, Jordan is just, he's an otherworldly being, bro. He's a little bit like insane, a little bit crazy. He's on the mental side, but it's an okay thing. That's why he was so successful. My cousin Jake showed me this meme when I was in Arizona. I hate that term, meme. That's kind of a boomer thing now.
Let's use Mimi.
Mimi. You showed me this pic. Show me this dope pic. And it was like, you're not going to understand this because the meme's not here, but it's like, it said like no one, ... you know, like the no one colon.
Oh my
like
gosh,
nothing.
those ones.
And then it was like Michael Jordan, and it was like, so I took that personally. And I thought I didn't understand it at the time, but it's super funny because the whole show, he's just like, wait, Jake didn't even show me that meme. That was straight up Tyler Hyatt, bro. Why did I think Jake showed me that meme? That was actually Tyler that showed me that. Doesn't matter. But anyways, the whole show, Michael Jordan was like he would make things up in his head. He would find every little thing to just fuel this fire, this motivation. It was so inspiring to watch, and it's motivated me. And I'm not even a basketball guy. I should have put this before this Last Dance talk. I'm not a basketball guy at all, and you can attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a sports guy, and basketball is like one of my bottom sports that I'm not interested in. And I loved this, and it was just purely, it just showed how when you set your mind to things and you work hard, you can do it, I guess. That's so corny, but it's just, I like seeing how people get to where they're at and what they do to get to places to try and adapt those things to my life so I can achieve my goals. It was really interesting to watch. And one more thing before I stop rambling, there was one part that was the craziest thing. It was after he got beaten by this team. I don't remember what team it was, and I don't remember.
The Pistons, probably?
Maybe. And then there was the guy on the other team, and Jordan came off, and he was like telling everybody that the guy on the other team put his arm around him and said, "Hey, good game, Mike," like sarcastically like that. And so then Jordan just went off the next game, like went off on them, and they kicked trash. And then it was later revealed that the guy never even said that, never did that. Jordan was just like, "Yeah, I made that up." He literally came up with the entire lie to fuel his own fire and try and beat them the next game. That's insane, dude.
Well, yeah, and it's like he wasn't taking offense to anything like how people are today. They take offense to things and let it drag them down. But he just comes up with something that motivates him, that is against him, so that he can have something to push him even further. And one thing that I wanted to add in, like earlier, how you were saying that like it shows that anybody can do anything, like as long as they're working hard. Like that's how it is for everything. Look at any professional athlete. Yeah, a lot of them have raw talent, but that's not gonna get you very far. Just talent on its own. if you don't know how to use that talent, if you don't like practice all the time, I know that sounds really corny and everything, but like,
look, it's the truth.
It is the truth. Like, I don't want to bring this into my running. I do everything into my running, but like,
that's dope.
I was like a very casual runner before, and yeah, I had some talent. Like, we're a very small team, so like I was like second on the team, but our team's not very fast, and I was like, well, I want to get better, but I don't really know what to do. Like, I don't know where to go. And then I finally started just practicing all the time, just working hard every day, and I've brought my 5K time down by like 3 minutes. It's literally just, if you put in the work, you're going to get there. It doesn't matter. There's so many people who had less talent than other people, and then they just put in all the work, and they got above everybody just because of the hard work, because hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Dang,
I just pulled that one.
That's dope. Dang. Hard work never cheated anybody, bro. That's the vibe, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I don't know. It scares me to think that this podcast won't work out for me, because I'm putting all my eggs, not all of them. I'd say 60% of my eggs are in this basket, and then there's like 1 or 2 in every other basket in the creative industry. But most of my, like, I'm working with this podcast hardest, and I want this to be my main job for the rest of my life. And it scares me because I don't know. I work hard at it, but I don't know if it's ever gonna work out, and that's a scary thought. But you just gotta keep pushing, bro. Right now, we don't know what's gonna happen, but in the future, when we make it, we're gonna look back and be glad we stuck with it. You know, Nobody knows what the future holds right now. Obviously, dummy, that's what the future is. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. We didn't know coronavirus was gonna come, but it's just I guess you just have to. You just gotta guess. You just gotta try.
Well, yeah, and it's like you're not going to see results. You're not always going to see results like instantly. Like when I was running, I didn't. And I was watching a thing. It was like the progress of Mr. Beast as a YouTuber. He had his 700 subscriber special, I think, after his 200th video.
Really?
Yeah, like 200 videos. He didn't even reach 1,000 subscribers yet. And then from there, now he's on track. He's gaining like 2 million subscribers a month, I think, or maybe a week. It's something insane. Like, he's literally on track to pass PewDiePie in like 5 years.
Jeez.
It's insane. Just imagine uploading 200 videos and only having 700 subscribers. I know I would totally lose all motivation at that point, like 100%. But he just kept on going. He perfected his craft, and now he's surpassing everybody, doing what he loves.
That's like the biggest thing I struggle with in my entire life. Because I'm not a big celebrity. I'm not a big star. We don't get that many views. We're literally on our 20th podcast, though. Not even 100 episodes. It's just like, it's very, it's depressing to see that there's not that much improvement, or not that much, you know what I mean? Not that much growth month after month. It's really, I don't know. But I'm just going to keep going.
Well, because eventually you're just going to, like, get better and better. And then people, when they actually start listening to you, then it's going to be going further and further and further. That's how it works. Because when it comes to anything, where you win is when you're doing stuff, when you're putting the hard work in all the time, even when you're not in the spotlight, even when it's not showing right away. That's where you win, because you just keep on going, and then that's going to eventually get you to that point.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is getting through that is very hard.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but this is one of the things that keeps me going when I get down on this. Is like some YouTubers talking about how when they were coming up and making videos, they were getting pissed that nobody was watching them, and then they finally got big and they were looking back on those videos and they were thanking God that nobody saw those videos because they were so bad. And it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, hopefully we just get better at it.
Well, and at the same time, it's like if they didn't make those videos, then when they got famous, they'd be putting out videos just like that because they didn't know yet.
You're gonna make trash. It's like with all art, you're going to make trash, and with sports, you're gonna be trash at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Every facet of life, you're going to be terrible.
And you just have to accept that. You work on your weaknesses. Like, for me, I feel like I could have been a good basketball player if I put in the same work in basketball as I did in running, but it's not what I was passionate about. And at the same time, I was the kid who I wasn't good, and so because of that, it made me kind of shy away from it because it wasn't something that I was ever the best at or even one of the best at. So that was just something that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore because it's not worth it. When in reality, if I had put in the work, I probably could have gotten to be one of the best. But it's the work that you put in that sets you apart, and I didn't put in that work.
Yeah. Would you rather find your passion and then just work hard at it no matter what, especially if you're a kid. Even if you're an adult, dude, just figure it out. But you don't want to be stuck. You just look at the rest of your life and figure out what you want to do with it, because you have a lot of years left. And I was talking to some kids, and I'm trying to get people to realize that they don't have to do what they think they have, like with college and jobs and that kind of stuff. They don't have to do everything that people expect them to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to these kids. I don't remember when or why, but I was just like, just figure out what you want to, figure out what you like, and just do that more. Especially right now and through college, you don't really have responsibilities until you have a family. You don't really have responsibility. So just do whatever you want and try and make something work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I wrote an essay about this stuff for one of my English classes, but I was just talking about college in general because it was talking about how college is overpriced and the use of college is going down because everybody's going to college now. And the problem is people are going to college before they have anything figured out. They're going to college to figure what they want to do out.
Yeah.
When you're in high school or even younger, that's the time you don't have much going on. That's the time you need to figure out what you like to do, because you're going to waste your time if you go to college. You're going to waste your time if you are just spending money on something that's not going to help you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Find what you want to do. If college is going to bring you to that, then go to college. If it's not going to, then don't go to college. Don't waste your time there. That's just my take on that, because so many people are wasting so much money to go to college, and at the same time they're bringing down the value of college because now everybody's going.
Yeah.
And so just find what you like when you're young, and even if you're not young, you still have time to find what you like. You can still, while you're doing other things, find what you like and get better at that, and eventually go into that. Even if you're 40 years old, you can still start a business. You can do anything.
Yeah, man. I feel like everybody, I'm not saying you should go out and start a podcast. If that's not what you're into, don't do. If it is what you're into, start one, because we would like to have podcast buddies. That'd be kind of dope.
That would be pretty dope.
That would be awesome.
We could like collab.
Yeah, I want to collab.
Like
I'm trying to find some podcasts that are like our level that we could maybe collab with and start sharing audiences with. But they're all terrible. Ours is so much better than I'm not even I tried to put it in. I tried to be like an outsider perspective, watching ours compared to some of these podcasts that I found on Instagram and stuff like that. And I'm just like, ours is so much better than that. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, just figure out what you like to do, because everybody has passions. And if you don't, then you haven't done enough stuff. Go figure out what you like to do. I was lucky because I found my shiz early, dude. I found my shiz early. And I'm kind of figuring it out right now, but figure out what you like, and don't waste your time. Don't waste your time in high school. Utilize it. Utilize right now when you don't have responsibilities. Make something work. Make something happen. Make something pop. let's go, dude. If you like making music, I was just saying, if you are into music, first of all, hit me up because I want some people. I want to make some music with some people. So if you're into that, please DM me. But just, I've said it 8 times already, but just figure out what you like to do and just do it more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really the whole gist of life. Like, you're going to have to work no matter what. So why not find what you like early on? So the whole rest of your life, you can do what you like. Yeah. Instead of figuring that out while you're doing something you don't like. You can just always do something you like.
Yep.
You just got to look around and find what that is. And I know it's hard. Like, I don't even know if what I'm going into is what I actually like. I have to look into it more. And it's something that's hard for me because I always say I want to go into aerospace engineering because that's what I want to go into. But at the same time, I don't really know. Like, that's just something that sounds cool to me, but I don't really know if that's something I'm actually going to be passionate about. So that's something I need to work on too.
Yeah, dude. It's like, you got to pay bills the rest of your life. You got to buy food, got to buy gas, you got to pay your friggin', you got to pay for a lot of stuff. So you're going to have to work unless you just want to be baller and go live in the mountains, which that's dope. And I fully support that. Mm-hmm. If you're going to live off the land, that's sick. But for most of you, you're gonna have to get a job, and I like seeing people that love their job because you spend a lot of time working in your lifetime. Mm-hmm. So when people enjoy their job and like do what they love, it makes me so happy. So I want to have that, and I want other people to have that. So I try to get people to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're literally going to be spending probably half your life at your job. And do you want to be doing that whole half your life? I'm not bagging on carpenters, but say you were a carpenter and because some people like that stuff. I'm not saying that's bad, but like say you hated it and you spent half your life being a carpenter when you hated it, when in reality you could have spent 6 months doing an internship in high school and learned to love whatever you were doing and done that for the rest of your life and loved it. And that would make such a big difference in your life, just spending those 6 months doing something to figure that out.
Yeah. And listen, most of you will fail. And that's okay because we need people to flip burgers for us. The rich people that have succeeded need people to flip burgers. So it's okay when most of you fail at what you like to do. But you got to try because maybe you could be the one that gets past. There's no hard work. You think hard work gets you there? It's luck. It's by the will of God that you make it. So I guess test your luck. Test your luck, and if you end up eating like flipping burgers at a Wendy's, then that's perfect.
The whole tone of this just totally changed.
Welcome to hell. Thanks for listening. I'm leaving you on that note, and I'm not joking. We're leaving on that note that you are probably going to fail.
So prove us wrong.
Yeah. Dip-ah. See ya.
Peace out.
I hate you. Oh.